In my opinion, the Fantastic Four has been done dirty by media in the last 20 years. I really enjoyed the 2004 live-action movie, and outside of that, there hasn't been much good Fantastic Four representation, partially due to Marvel themselves suppressing the F4 and X-Men brands while Fox owned them, and partially because the Fantastic Four content we did get wasn't that great, or at the very least was not memorable enough to make it into mainstream pop culture, besides this one meme from the 2015 movie.
Gotta say, it's fantastic.
Say that again?
That's why I'm very excited for the MCU's take on the Fantastic Four finally hitting the big screens. Because while it's obviously not following the comics one-to-one, the trailers look like the movie is at least capturing the essence of Marvel's first family. So I'm very excited for when that comes out. But in the meantime, I wanted to take a look at two older cartoons and their toy lines. One cartoon is from 1994, and I literally had never seen a single episode before this video. And the other is from 2006 and is made by the people who produce Code Lyoko. This is going to be a fun video, so grab a snack and flame on! What's good, internet? Jake here, dumb as ever. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some old Fantastic Four cartoons and the toys based on them. Though there is a little asterisk to that statement that we'll cover later in the video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to help me defeat Algae Rhythm, and to help me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. Back in the 90s, Marvel animation was booming, and it seems like almost all of Marvel's iconic characters got cartoons, from Spider-Man to X-Men to the Fantastic Four. To be honest, I had never seen an episode of the Fantastic Four cartoon before making this video, and I haven't really seen it referenced much online either, besides this clip from the show where Human Torch sings an incredibly weird song.
I never pass up a chance. I know the story seems long, but when I know the time is right for me and you, I just flame on, flame on, and on and on and on.
This song sounds like so ethereal for some reason, I'm not even convinced it's real. A YouTube comment I read made a really good point. The song was probably originally going to be a Frank Sinatra style crooning song, but was changed to a rap song later to appeal to 90s kids. So the visuals and song don't match up at all, and the whole sequence feels bizarre. The Fantastic Four cartoon was 2 seasons long, though Disney Plus combines them into a single season on the app. The animation in season 1 is really bland in my opinion, but the show itself is solid enough. It relies on classic comic book stories instead of creating its own lore, which is not a bad thing at all. And I really like the 2-part Galactus episode. Galactus's voice is just really cool.
Soon I shall interlock my converter to the cosmic fulcrum, and when the critical temperature has been reached, the hunger shall leave me.
It reminds me of Orson Welles' Unicron a little bit. Also, I've never really read or seen any Galactus content besides the second live-action movie, so I didn't know he used a doohickey to eat Earth. I guess I didn't know what he did at all, but I was assuming he just eats Earth himself. But it's a pretty far-out idea that he uses this complicated gizmo to do it. That's the kind of sci-fi freakery that I like. I think the show gets a million times better in season 2 though. The show switched animation studios and writers, and it felt more on par with something like X-Men. The first episode of season 2 is wild. Dr. Doom tries to blow up the Fantastic Four with a nuclear bomb, and he fails, but the F4 lose all their powers. And once Dr. Doom realizes this, he starts UAV airstriking them non-stop. Eventually the heroes regain their powers, and the Thing is so mad he crushes Doom's hands.
You're the reason I'm the Thing again. The reason Alicia ain't never gonna have a normal life with me. Now, you're gonna pay.
It's a really powerful scene to me, and I was not expecting writing on that level after watching season 1. Oh, also Daredevil is in this episode, which is cool. Season 2 even had an episode that featured Sue Storm's dominatrix-looking alter ego, Malice, which I'm sure was someone's awakening. I only mention this because it was really cool to see Sue use her powers offensively. She's a very defensive character by nature, but as Malice, she's crushing the Thing in an invisible box and creating an air bubble in Mr. Fantastic's stomach. I didn't realize how deadly Sue could be be if she wanted to be. I really did not like The Thing when I first started watching. The show portrays Ben as kind of dumb, which I don't really like. Maybe this was his characterization in the comics at the time, but in my opinion, The Thing is the best when Ben is a normal guy put in the worst situation possible, while this show pitches him more as a dumb oaf. And in every episode, he's the guy that has to say, English please, to any scientific thing Reed says. Overall, I don't think this is a terrible cartoon, but it's definitely not the best Marvel had to offer at the time. Like any good action cartoon, the 1994 Fantastic Four show had a toy line, which was produced by Toy Biz, who did all the Marvel toys at that point, and they would soon purchase and merge with Marvel itself. The toy line ran for 4 waves and also featured vehicles and deluxe figures. I love the sparkly 4 they used on the packaging. I wonder if it inspired the 4 emblem Reed has in Doctor Strange 2, which always stood out to me because I thought the sparkling was a cool detail. The main 4 heroes got multiple toys except for Mr. Fantastic, who only got 1 figure, though his toy is really cool because his arms actually stretch, though after 30 years the rubber usually doesn't hold up on these figures and can be torn fairly easily, but the concept is cool for sure. Human Torch got several figures. His coolest one is the sparking action Human Torch, which has a little mechanism inside his body that causes a spark, which shows light through the clear plastic on his body. I gotta say though, he looks like he's been skinned. His glow-in-the-dark toy looks a bit less creepy, but we go right back to weird with this Johnny Storm toy where he's half transformed. It's actually way worse here though, and looks even more like he got skinned. Invisible Woman had 2 figures. One is normal while the other one is fully transparent plastic, to represent being invisible of course. The painted version's face sculpt is really rough. She does not look like the cartoon or even the comic books. The idea of a fully transparent toy is just funny to me. Like, I'm glad the toy exists, but I definitely would not have chosen it in the toy aisle. The Thing had several figures. His first toy looks a lot like the comic book version of The Thing, featuring a punching action. But the second Thing toy, which came with an overcoat and hat disguise, was much more in line with the cartoon's look for the ever-loving Thing. I love the overcoat. This guy should hang out with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Of course, these heroes need someone to fight, so we got classic villains like Dr. Doom, who has this weird extendo arm. Inspector Gadget looking Dr. Doom. I love the Mole Man figure. This little weirdo comes with an even weirder little homunculus.
Hello, daddies,
Don't you see?
Daddies, hello.
Look what you did! You created one!
The Mad Titan Thanos also got a toy. He's not too interesting, but he is a really solid looking comic book Thanos. One of the F4's most powerful enemies, the Super Skrull, also got a toy, with all the Fantastic Four's powers on display. Psycho Man is such a freak, I love him. Just being named Psycho Man is kinda fire, and Dragon Man is in a similar position. A fire name for a dragon dude with his tongue sticking out. Annihilus might be my favorite figure in the line though. I'm biased because I like Annihilus from the comics, but this toy is really cool, because you can pull off his head to reveal a smaller alien body on the inside. There were also vehicles for your toys. Mr. Fantastic's Sky Shuttle is a small flying vehicle with a bunch of hidden weapons. It seems like a cheaper alternative to the full Fantasticar. The Thing had his own vehicle, the Sky Cycle, which is painted an ugly set of colors. It looks like something Kang the Conqueror would drive more than Ben Grimm. The biggest vehicle was of course the Fantasticar, which had places for all 4 heroes to sit, as well as a noise box and a whole host of weaponry. Bizarrely, this mold was reused 10 years later for the 2005 Fantastic Four movie, which shocked me, but with a few paint apps and a couple new accessories, it fits the movie aesthetic well enough. The final figure I wanted to talk about is the 14-inch electronic Galactus. Toys for Galactus are always an event since he's such a big dude, and this toy may be the first big Galactus toy. I think Toy Biz did a great job on the sculpt, and while he isn't superposable, he comes with lights and sounds, and a cool drill gizmo that also lights up when you plug it into his chest. Obviously, this toy isn't crazy by modern day standards, but man, I bet it was fun back in 1994. Fantastic Four World's Greatest Heroes is a 2006 cartoon by the company Moonscoop, who you might know as the creators of Code Lyoko. You know, that show with the big foreheads. I actually talked about that show and its toy line in an older video, so check that out if you're interested. But for right now, let's talk about World's Greatest Heroes, a show that gives the Fantastic Four new designs, heavily leaning in a more anime art style than most Western cartoons. Though I should note that Moonscoop is a French studio. It's funny, neither this show nor the 1994 cartoon cover the Four's origin story. They just summarize it in the intro. I did actually watch World's Greatest Heroes when I was younger, though apparently it had a tumultuous release schedule, and only the first 8 episodes released as scheduled, with the rest being dumped in a marathon promoting Rise of the Silver Surfer. I don't really remember when or how often I watched it, so I can't speak to that, but I will say it was a fun cartoon to watch back then, and it still is now. The animation is awesome, and the writing is solid. The show treats Ben much better than the 1994 show. He's a rock monster, but he's got a heart of gold, and I dig his redesign for the show. The spray painted 4 on his chest is fun.
No way am I letting you hurt Johnny. He's a good kid. He's brave. He's got a big heart. Sure, he's short on brains, but... Johnny!
I really like this episode where Reed was able to change Ben back to his human form, but Ben lost his memories of the Fantastic Four in the process. And at the same time, Mole Man attacks, so the F4 hold tryouts and hire She-Hulk. Shout out to the cameos of Frogman and Squirrel Girl as well, back when Squirrel Girl was an E-list superhero. It was super cool to see She-Hulk work with the F4 in a cartoon, since she joined them in the comics for a time. I also really like the episode where Dr. Doom switched bodies with Reed Richards. I might be crazy, but I'm almost certain there's an issue of Ultimate Fantastic Four with the exact same plot. Or I watched the episode as a kid and I'm having hella deja vu. Doom in Reed's body was absolutely trying to smash Sue. It's actually so creepy.
You're canceling your lectures?
I would prefer to spend my time with you.
What?
Perhaps we could,
I've got plans with Alicia tonight, remember?
Like, I know he's a supervillain, but that's a whole new level of criminal. I love this episode concept because, like most good supervillains, Doom's core character is simply envious of Reed, and Doom trying and failing to steal Reed's life is just great writing. I feel like this show deserved way better, to be honest, and genuinely, if you haven't seen it, check it out. The entire show is on Disney+. So here is the issue with the World's Greatest Heroes toy line. It never came out. Yep, this Toy Biz line was fully cancelled, though that may have more to do with Toy Biz losing the Marvel brand license. The cartoon came out in 2006 and Toy Biz lost the license in January of 2007, so it's very likely that the line was cancelled because of that, though the show failing to capture an audience could have been a big reason as well. Thankfully, we have a good amount of pictures of the toy line, which was pre-fleshed out and shown at Toy Fair 2006. I'd like to give a big shout out to Sell You Real Entertainment, a fellow YouTuber who covered these toys recently. Without their video, I would not have been able to find these images, so go check them out. Okay, so since the toys were cancelled, we're just going to cover everything we can. Starting with the packaging, which would have looked like this. Nice and bright for a cartoon. There were 11 figures planned for the toy line. Invisible Woman got a fairly simple figure, though it looks like she would have had excellent articulation. Mr. Fantastic has this bizarre pre-stretched look, and it doesn't look like he's very posable, but the packaging literally calls him super posable Mr. Fantastic, so I'm assuming this was more of a test shot of the toy before adding articulation to the design, though even with articulation, he would still be creepy, looking like Slender Man 24/7. The thing looks great, I just know the hand feel on this toy would have been amazing. And finally, the Human Torch had 2 figures, one being Johnny in civilian clothes, while the other is a fully fired up Human Torch. I really love the Human Torch sculpt. The flame effects just give the guy a lot of energy. There was also going to be a Hulk figure since he was in the show for a few episodes. He looks awesome. Toy Biz adapted the cartoon into toy form so well. I love how thick and chunky he is. Speaking of chunky, there was also a Mole Man figure. I feel like his design in the show was inspired by the Ultimate Mole Man, who is just a gross character. There were also Skrull and Doombot toys. Both look great. And it's awesome that they made these lower level villains to fight your heroes. The coolest toy, and in general the coolest design from the show, is Dr. Doom. I love this take on him with the super long cloak and high-tech armor. He almost looks like a wizard or something. Finally, we have this absolutely gigantic Build-A-Figure that was planned for the wave. This character is Giganto, and he was about 13 inches tall. Paul Harding, the person who sculpted this toy, said that Toy Biz was actually concerned with fitting pieces of the mole monster in the packaging since it was so big, which is kind of hilarious to me for some reason. And they did have one big Mr. Fantastic Kids toy, which looks like it would have stretched like Stretch Armstrong strong. Ultimately, the cartoon was underappreciated, and this toy line, which looked excellent, was cancelled due to some unfortunate timing. I hope prototypes of these toys hit the internet someday, because I'd love to see them up close and in HD. While the Fantastic Four has been downplayed for the last 20 years, I'm looking forward to the future, and I hope we not only get great movies, but awesome cartoons and toys featuring Marvel's first family. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and if you'd like to support me further, I have a YouTube membership and Patreon. For just $1 a month, both platforms give you the same thing. Access to my private Discord server where we do monthly movie nights and weekly Toku nights, and weekly exclusive videos called Toy Dives, where I talk about a random toy line. In the most recent episode, I talked about Transformers Fast Action Battlers, which is a kid's toy line from the 2007 Transformers movie. Also, I now have merch. Check out the link in my description to get your very own Dumb Jake shirt, hoodie, or sticker. Alright y'all, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.